Hey y'all, it's Amy. We're going to talk about 2025 real quick. Hey, if you haven't seen me before, I read tarot on here and some other stuff, cringy millennial, fun content, right? But every year I kind of have a focus. So in 2023, the word of the year was revolution. That came through very clearly for me on multiple occasions. That's also the year we saw turmoil escalate, in certain areas, certain watermelon countries, etc. And we started seeing just like this revolution kind of reigniting among the people of the world in general, right? 2024, the word was community, and especially in leftist circles, like if we want revolution, we have to build community, right? So I've been sitting here wondering the last several days, like, what will be the word and the focus of 2025? And I'd kind of landed on the word authenticity a few days ago, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna mull it over and kind of look for the signs and see if that still feels right. And I sat down this evening with all my cards, like all my cards, all my cards. Okay, and all my notes. And I just started like pulling whatever decks felt right to pull from, specifically these two to start, and then this alchemy elementals. A lot of black here, a lot of dark, but we'll get there. And I was like, all right, so let's talk about this. And for the collective, I'm just calling it. I'm just using that word for like the people that like jive with what I say, and we vibe, and we get each other. Whatever I say typically resonates with you. Y'all, my folks, my people on the other side of the electric rectangle. I had first gotten the words like satiety and this feeling of like enough versus like focusing on lack. And I think that's a good background thing to work on, is like it, which came up a lot in like 2023 for me personally. Like, I can't even think of like the wording I used back then because it's been so long since I talked about it. But like when you focus on what you don't have versus what everyone else has, like that's something we kind of need to work on. But that's background, because let's get to the real bit here. So again, I got the word authenticity, and then in the Spirit Allies deck, I got card number 11, Saraswati. And the main phrase from that card is, the words I speak shape my reality. And I started thinking about how manifesting, we'll just kind of boil it down to that. So like, if you go through your day saying, I'm going to have a great day, even if things come up, I'm going to handle it the best I can. I'm going to look on the bright side. I'm going to see the positives. You're more likely to have a good day. You're more likely to at least leave the day feeling somewhat positive in some way. But if you're like, I'm going to have the worst day today, everything's going to go wrong. They're going to mess up my coffee order. I'm going to get stuck in traffic. When I get to work, there's going to be a weird smell from that guy sitting in the cubicle next to me. Like, if you flood your brain with these negative things, you're going to notice all those negative things that happen so much more. And you have like a more negative feeling at the end of the day. And a lot of that is like, it's not even woo woo. It's just like mindset, your general mindset. If you look for the good, you find the good, etc. And I started picking up on this theme of like our authenticity being tied to the words we speak, and like almost a manifestation there. I then kept drawing. Where did I go next? Oh yeah, I think it was this. No, it was this deck that I really like. I can't think of what it's called, but I got card number 22, Library, which said take control of your own narrative, which really like reinforced this message I'm getting of the power that lies within your words and how that ties into living authentically. And also got the phrase, don't let other people define you. I also at one point picked up on the phrase duplicity. Kind of like popped into my head when I was looking, because the library card was number 22, Saraswati, which I hope I'm not butchering that name, was card 11. 11 times 2 is 22, double the 11, you get 22. And so I just kind of started thinking about that. Got the word duplicity. Did a Google just like to see what would catch my attention, and I got James 1:8. in the Bible. And in essence, that passage is kind of talking about having faith and having faith without doubt. Like if you ask God for something, you 100% have faith that he's going to deliver. But if you have any bit of doubt in there, it's not going to happen because that doubt is present. And it kind of ties back into this authenticity, internal, the words we speak externally reinforcing our internal, and then of course our internal reinforcing the external. Oh, and even that's kind of coming more together. And then when I pulled up my Alchemy Elementals deck, one of the cards I drew was card number 7, which is Fire, Tribal Fire, Star. Okay. Card number 7. And one of the lines in here is, if we find ourselves dissatisfied with our world as it is, then we have to get real about the materials we are using to create it. And if we're thinking manifestation, our words are creating, right? The way we are moving through life is creating. And yeah, the way you're moving through life and creating, if you tell somebody, hey, I hope you have a great day, you're going to create some little positive emotion in them that may help them face their next challenge, right? Like, our words have impact, not only on others and on the world around us, but on ourselves, right? And I feel like this is very broad, but also a very simple thing that I don't want to like boil down too much, but I also don't want it to get too expansive. So the word of the year, authenticity. I think our number of the year is 14. It's been usually like my number of the year kind of comes over from the previous year. And that's kind of what's happening here. At 14 kind of came up randomly. So we'll just see what happens. I'm not going to like lock in on it just yet, but you know, we shall see. Fours in general. Also 2025, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 is a 9. I want to look up the numerology of the number 9 because I'm trying to just make sure I'm covering all my bases. We'll get there. Excuse me. But I'll go ahead and just read this entire passage because I feel called to. So, Fire, Tribal Fire, Star. Card number 7 from Shaman Durek's Alchemy Elementals. Stories are the building blocks of society. Our mythologies create our culture, our mythologies shape our tribes, and our mythologies structure our families. So also, like, yeah, I mentioned the Bible. Don't stick it straight to that, because I also feel like basically the Bible and mythology and all that is basically a whole bunch of people trying to put words to everything, right? Continuing. If we find ourselves dissatisfied with our world as it is, then we have to get real about the materials we are using to create it. Remember that you are co-creating this reality structure with your every thought and your every word. I don't think I even read this far yet, y'all. Be mindful of the stories you are telling, dear one, and be sure that the narratives you are sharing are tales of triumph and tales of love, of peace, and of harmony, such that you are consciously building the reality you want to be living in. And that was another thought I had looking into this, is like kind of going back with the leftist themes of the previous 2 years of revolution and community. We can't only focus on what's going wrong in this world. We have to have conversations about how to fix things and how things should be. And I think we have begun that. We have to keep it up. We can't just complain about what's going on. We have to actually think and speak about where we want to end up, how we want things to look. Because our words have power. And the more we speak in authentic ways about how we want the future to be, the more likelihood we're going to get there, okay? Anyway, I'm going to see if I can glean more information. And yeah, happy 2025, y'all. Let's get real. Love you, bye.